Lots of kids take part in year-round sports, whether it's through school and clubs, and oftentimes it's the same sport.
And with no off-season, doctors seeing more overuse injuries in young people, particularly with their feet. Dr. Michael Zimmerman is a podiatrist at CHI Health, is here with some hopefully helpful advice for parents as these kids head back to school sports.
Hi, how are you guys?
Yeah, great. Good to have you. So, I mean, the first thing we want to ask is, how does that constant activity impact the development of young people's feet and increase risk for injury?
Sure. So what we're seeing is an athlete are getting more common to get overuse injuries. This is happening from the repetitive stress to that area. It doesn't have enough time to recover, and that accumulation of stress is starting to cause micro trauma to the bone, muscle, and tendons, and cause injury to those areas.
You know, but there's a lot of parents who encourage their kids to specialize in just one sport at a young age. Specific foot injuries you see more often in specific sports?
Sure. You know, what we're seeing is as over the last decade, we've seen an increase in club sports, specialization. Kids are playing on multiple teams. Their training hours are increasing. And so then what we're starting to see is that they're not getting enough time of rest, restore, and repair. Common foot injuries that we're starting to see more of are going to be bone stress injuries and stress fractures in the metatarsals, which are kind of the long bones in the foot, as well as the navicular, which is a bone in the middle of the foot. A common one we're seeing is an injury along the growth plate at the insertion point of the Achilles tendon. Back in the heel, it's a common name people may use as Seaver's disease or calcaneopaphysitis, which is an injury along that growth plate. Some things that parents can maybe do to help prevent or should be aware of is a simple thing is just making sure the shoes fit appropriately. A lot of times we pick the cool shoe or the shoe that the brand we want, and that shoe particularly may not fit your athlete the best. So making sure that it not only fits in length, but width. At times too, if it doesn't quite fit in width, we just go up a half a size for our player. But then that foot can shift and move in there and add that stress to that lower extremity in that foot. So sometimes you really need to make sure you order that wide for that for your athlete, as well as gradually increase training time and intensity, good stretch, nutrition, good rest.
That is something, yeah, I wouldn't have thought of, and I think a lot of people wouldn't think of. But is there, say, a specific age where parents should start paying attention to some of these issues?
Sure. I mean, it's all ages. They have their own subset of injuries that they can get. We'll see different types of injuries at different ages as the foot's developing and different parts of it. The big things are, you know, trying to make sure that your athlete's not overdoing it. Some simple general guidelines are using their age as maybe the number of hours they should train in a week, such as a 12-year-old should maybe be training about 12 hours or playing per week. Try to aim to be on one team. Build in breaks, allow 1 to 2 days of rest, and taking a couple months off between each sport as they end. And again, enough sleep and nutrition. We'll see lots of kids as they start to develop later in life that their injuries become more tendon than bone, but you can see it all different kinds of ages and different subsets of different sports too can cause different types of injuries as well.
Yep. Well, Dr. Zimmerman, I appreciate you being here today. Great advice. Never hurts to put your feet up, no matter how old you are.
That's right. Put your best foot forward.
I like it. Thanks, Mike.